Today, we will learn directed graph and undirected graph, weighted graph and unweighted graph. So first, what is a directed graph? Okay, from its name here, directed. Directed means we are given the direction. 我们会有方向。Okay, kami tahu arah dia. Bagaimana kami tahu arah dia? Kami akan diberi anak panah. So how do we know the direction? We will have the arrow. Okay, 我们会有箭头来显示它的方向。So directed graphs are usually used to represent the flow of a certain process. For example, road maps, organization charts, and the blood circulatory system. Okay, let's look at this example. So this is a chart organization for a hotel. Okay, so you have executive housekeeper, followed by assistant housekeeper, and then followed by several supervisor. Okay, so this is an example of directed graph because you are given the arrow. So we know that this executive housekeeper has the highest position among all of them. Okay, so this is an example of directed graph. You are given the direction. Okay, so we have arrows here. 我们会有这些箭头，就代表这个是 directed graph. Okay, another example will be blood circulatory system. When our body cells use up all the oxygen, then the blood will flow into the atrium. Then the blood flows into the ventricle, and then from the ventricle it goes into our lung, okay, for exchange of gases. Then after that, the blood will flow back into the heart and then go into our body cells again. So this is the direction. So we all know that the direction, and we are given the arrows. Okay, so this is an example of directed graph also. Okay, so these two are an example of directed graph. Conversely, an undirected graph is a graph in which its edges are not assigned any direction, no arrows shown. Tiada anak panah. Okay, example. Directed graph. So we are given the direction. We have arrows here. Ada anak panah di sini untuk menunjukkan arah dia. Okay, so this is called a directed graph. For undirected graph, tiada anak panah. 它没有这个 arrows, 没有箭头 no arrows. So this is an undirected graph. Each edge connecting two vertices in one direction only. Okay, so this is called edge. H1, H2, H3, H4, and H5. For each edge, we only have one arrow. That's mean only one direction, not in both directions. So only one direction. 它只有一个方向罢了，去一个方向，它不会又来又回的。A simple graph or a graph with loops and multiple edges can be made into directed graph by assigning direction to its edges. Okay, so this is directed graph with no loops and multiple edges. We have arrows here. And for this graph, no loops and no multiple edges. Okay, so this is called a simple graph. So for HPQ, okay, so let's say this one, PQ. So now we are given the direction. So we know that this is from P to Q. Panah di sini, jadi kita tahu arah dia, yaitu dari P ke Q. So P is the initial vertex. Initial vertex and Q is the terminal vertex. Okay, initial 是开始 terminal 是结束，从 P 开始到 Q 结束。For HRP, okay, so this is from R to P. If we are not given the direction, we do not know either it's from P to R or from R to P. But this one, we are given the direction, so we know that this is from R to P. So when we write this, we have to write R first. R, P. Okay, R is the initial and P is the terminal. Dari R ke P. Okay, how about this one? So for this one, we have to write QR. QR. Okay, because we are given direction here. We know that this is from Q to R, not from R to Q. So we have to write like this. Q is the initial and R is the terminal. Okay, directed graph with loops and multiple edges. Okay, so let's say this one, H1. So we are given direction here. When we write this, this is from P to Q. So we have to write P to Q. P comes first, followed by Q. P is the initial, Q is the terminal. This is multiple edges because we have two lines connecting P to R. P and R. Okay, 这个是叫 multiple edges， 因为有两条线在这边。So for E2, direction is from P to R. So E2 is PR. Dari P ke R. How about E3? E3, the direction is here. So this is from R to P. So you have to write R first, followed by P. For E4, this is a loop. Okay, for loop, we start from Q, ends at Q. So you just write QQ. Okay, no direction given here because it's a loop. For E5, okay, this is from Q to R, so we have to write Q to R. You cannot write RQ, but you have to write QR because the direction is given. For a directed graph, the degree of a vertex consists of in degree and out degree. Okay, what is in degree? In degree is the number of edges that are going to the vertex. Masuk. Okay, masuk ke dalam vertex. And this is its symbol, D. D means degree, in, and this vertex. Then out degree. Out degree is the number of edges that are coming out from the vertex. Okay, keluar daripada vertex. So you have degree out vertex. Okay, for example, this graph. So we start from vertex A. Okay, this is in degree. So berapa garisan masuk ke dalam vertex A? How many lines coming into vertex A? So we have arrows here. Okay, one line coming into vertex A, only one. Satu saja yang masuk ke dalam A. So you write 1. Out degree for vertex A, how many lines coming out from A? Berapa garisan keluar dari A? Okay, so 1, 2, 2 line. So the total of degree A will be 1 plus 2 equals to 3. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, for vertex B, in degree. So how many lines coming into B? We have 1, 2. So we have 2 here. Then out degree, how many lines coming out from B? Only 1. So 1. Total 2 plus 1 equals to 3. Okay, for C. C is a loop. Okay, so we have a loop here. For loop here, we have to count clockwise and anti-clockwise. Okay, so how many lines coming into C? Okay, so for this loop, if it turns clockwise, then we have 1 lines coming into C. So 1, 2. 你看，如果它是顺时针转的话，它会有这边会有一个进去 C， 然后2个。So 2. For out degree of C, so how many lines coming out from C? So for this loop, if this loop turns anti-clockwise, then we will have 1 lines coming out from C. So 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 here. Total degree of C, 2 plus 3 equals to 5. For D, in degree. So how many lines coming into D? Berapa garisan masuk ke dalam D? 1, 1 only. So you write down 1. Out degree. How many lines coming out from D? Berapa garisan keluar daripada D? Tiada. Okay? No. So we have to put 0. So total degree of D is 1 plus 0 equals to 1. Okay, for total, so we add all the numbers here. 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1. Then total in degree we will have 6. Total out degree, 2 plus 1 plus 3 plus 0 equals to 6. Total degree, 3 plus 3 plus 5 plus 1 equals to 12. From this table, we can conclude that total of in degree is equals to total of out degree. Okay, 6 equals to 6. Okay, I repeat. Total of in degree, the summation of in degree equals to total of out degree, the summation of out degree. And when we add in degree and out degree together, we add the summation together, 6 plus 6, we will have the total degree. Okay, so this is the extra input here. Summation of in degree equals to summation of out degree. And summation of in degree plus together with summation of out degree, we will have summation of degree. Now let's look at the weathered graph. So what is a weathered graph? A weathered graph is a graph in which every edge is associated with a value or weight. For unweathered graph, does not have any weight associated with its edges. Okay, for example, this one, weathered graph. So for weathered graph, we will have value, or we call as weight. Either it is for directed graph or undirected graph. As long as we have weight here, then this is called weathered graph. For unweathered graph, we are not given any values or weight. Okay, so this is an example of undirected graph. Okay, let's look at the example. Example 10. The diagram shows 4 graphs. Among these 4 graphs, identify the directed graph. Okay, so what is a directed graph? Directed. We have direction. So how do we know the direction? We are given arrows. Okay, kami akan tahu arah dia. Bagaimana kami tahu arah dia? Dengan anak panah. Okay, each graph here is given the direction. So G1, because we have arrows here, G2 and G4. So we have G1, G2, and G4. The weighted graph. Weighted means we are given the values. Okay, so graph G1. Okay, because we are given the value here. And graph G3, we are given the value. So G1 and G3. Unweighted graph means we are not given any values. So that is G2 and G4. G2, G4. Directed and weighted graph. So directed graph, just now we have G1, G2, and G4. So among these three graphs, which one is also a weighted graph? So only G1. G1 is a weighted and directed graph. G1. Undirected and weighted graph. So for undirected, we have G3 because we are not given arrows there. Okay, weighted, okay, we are given values. So G3 is the answer. Example 11. Draw a directed graph based on the following information. Okay, vertex P, Q, R, S, T. So we draw out 5 dots here. P, Q, R, S, T. Then we connect. Okay, this is directed graph. So you have to follow the direction from P to Q. From P to Q, you draw arrows. From Q to R, we draw an arrow. Q to T. From Q to T, we draw an arrow. S to R, then you draw an arrow. R to T. Okay, so this is a directed graph. Hence, step in degree and out degree of P. Okay, so in degree of P, how many lines come in into P? Berapa garisan masuk ke dalam P? No. So, for this one, in degree equals to 0 because no lines coming in into P. Then out degree of P, how many lines coming out from P? Berapa garisan keluar daripada P? Hanya 1. So, equals to 1. Okay, you write like this. In degree of P equals to 0. Out degree of P equals to 1. Then for Q, in degree, berapa garisan masuk ke dalam Q? How many lines coming in into Q? Only 1. Only 1 line coming in into Q. So in degree of Q equals to 1. Out degree of Q, berapa garisan keluar daripada Q? 1, 2, 2 lines. So equals to 2. For R, in degree, so we have 1, 2. 2 lines coming in into R. So equals to 2. Out degree of R, how many lines coming out from R? 1. So equals to 1. S, in degree, how many lines coming in into S? 0. Okay, so equals to 0. Out degree, how many lines coming out from C? How many lines coming out from S? 1. So equals to 1. In degree of T, how many lines coming in into T? 1, 2. So this is equals to 2. Out degree of T, how many lines coming out from T? 0. So you have 0 here. Example 12. The diagram shows an incomplete directed graph G. It is given that in degree of A equals to 2, in degree of B equals to in degree of C equals to 1, in degree of D equals to 2, and in degree of E equals to 0. Determine summation, this is total, out degree, and summation of degree. Okay, so we are given in degree for each vertex. First, we calculate summation of in degree of every vertices here. So for vertices A, in degree of A equals to 2. For vertex B, in degree of B equals to 1. Vertex C equals to 1 also. D equals to 2. And for E, in degree of E equals to 0. So total will be 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 0 equals to 6. And just now I mentioned that summation of in degree will equals to summation of out degree. Okay, so for here, summation of out degree will be equals to 6. Okay, just follow number here, 6. Then how to calculate this? Summation of degree. Summation of degree equals to summation of in degree plus summation of out degree. Then we will have 6 plus 6 equals to 12. So the answer will be 12. B. Complete the directed graph by assigning arrows to its edges. Okay, so based on this information, can you complete this graph? So we start from here. In degree of E equals to 0. That means no line coming in into E. Therefore, this line must be going out from E. Okay, dari sini ya, because dia ada garisan masuk ke dalam E. Jadi, untuk garisan ini, mestilah dia keluar dari E. 因为它这个不是进，因为它讲这个进去1的是等于0，所以这条线一定是出去的。Then for this, in degree of D equals to 2. Okay, so for D, we have 2 lines coming in into D. So we have 1 here, but we still have 2 lines here. Okay, we skip first. We cannot determine which line is coming in. So we skip this one first. And then for this one, in degree of C equals to 1. But C, we have 3 lines. And these 3 lines still unknown. Then we skip first. In degree of B equals to 1. That means 1 line is coming in into B. Satu garisan masuk ke dalam B. So for B, we already have 1 line coming in into B. Therefore, this line, it will be coming out from B. 因为你看这个啊，进去 B 的有一条线，这边已经有一条线进去 B 了，所以这条线一定是出去的。Now we go back to here. In degree of C equals to 1. So just now we already have 1 line coming in into C. Therefore, these 2 lines must be going out from C. 因为这个刚才我们已经画了一条线进去 C 了，对吗？而且题目告诉我们进去 C 的就只有一条线，所以这2条线一定是出去外面的了。And then, in degree of A equals to 2. 2 lines coming in into A. Therefore, for A, we have 2 lines coming in. So this must be going in into A. And then you check first for this one. In degree of D equals to 2. So 2 lines coming in into D. Okay, so this is the answer. Example 13. Draw a directed graph based the given information. Vertex PQRST. Okay, so draw like this. PQRST. Then PQ. Okay, so connect P to Q. PR. P to R. PS. P to S. QR and SR. QR. SR. Okay, so this is a diagram. There's a loop at vertex P. RS is a multiple edge, and the degrees of all the vertices are as follows. So plot out 4 points. P, Q, R, S. Okay, so from the questions here, there is a loop at vertex P. So you draw a loop first at vertex P. RS is a multiple edge. So RS here you draw 2 edges. This is called multiple edge. And the degrees of all the vertices are as follows. We can start from Q. Okay, from Q, we are given in degree of Q equals to 3. So that means we have 3 lines connecting to Q. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 3 lines connecting to Q. And also, 3 of them are going in into Q. So going in. Okay, so we settle for this one, Q. Okay, now R. For R, in degree of R equals to 1. Okay, for these multiple edges here, 1 must be going in and 1 must be going out. Okay, so in degree of R equals to 1, so 1 line is going into R. Okay, so this one settled. Out degree of R equals to 3. So 1, 2, we still have 1. 1 going out from R. Okay, so you connect from R to P. Okay, so this one settled. S. In degree of S equals to 1. So 1 line is going in into S. Okay, this one correct. Out degree of S equals to 2. So 2 lines going out from S. So we have 1, 2, correct? Then we go back to P. Okay, this is a loop. For a loop, we have 1 in and 1 out. So left with 1, 1 here. So 1 line, another 1 line going in into P. So from this one, Okay, going in into P. So this is sector. Out degree of P equals to 2. So this one, 1, 2. Okay, so this is the graph.